Welcome back, everyone. Today we're doing a pre-Christmas bonus video just because I feel like it. And what we're going to do today is, first of all, we're going to not look at my crash magazines. I'm just going to put those away. We are going to do, let me move this Christmas coffee out of the way. And I'll give you a little tip for you coffee drinkers if you get a Starbucks takeout. I like to poke a little hole in the lid with my dart, just like that. Physics, let in some air so that the vacuum won't be so much when you're trying to take a sip. Okay, so what we're going to do today is an unboxing from Fusion Retro Books. And you can probably guess it's going to be a book because it's from Fusion Retro Books. So first of all, thank you, Chris Wilkins, for even offering these fantastic books. They're really great keepsakes for the Specky community and all the other retro computer communities as well, because obviously Fusion Retro Books offers books for all sorts of different computers. And I've been doing several book unboxings and reviews lately because they're so interesting and fun to have some books to read when we're not actually doing stuff with our computers, playing games or making games or doing programming or whatnot. So I actually don't remember which book this is. So let's open it up and find out. I showed you in a recent video that it's right here, that I have this Crash Annual 2024 that I'm looking forward to reading. I have read most of this already, and it's excellent, just like all the Crash books. And there is an interesting article in here that I kind of gave you a preview in one of my previous videos. Here is the famous famous snowman that was featured in my 2022 Crash Live little magazine, the Fusion magazine. And this booklet has some interesting articles. Annual, it's not a booklet, it's an annual. So this annual has some interesting articles. I did read this one from Simon Butler, which was really interesting. Where is it? One moment, please. What's next? Page 44. What's next? What's next for Simon Butler, the article is called. So if you happen to get this magazine, and I recommend you do if you're a Specky fan, and even though I'm in Canada, I'm still a Specky fan because I started out with Timex Sinclair. You wake up one day and it's 40 years later. Oh well. At least we're still going strong with our retro computing hobby here. So I'm going to flip to page 44, and I'm not going to read this article, but I'm just going to show it to you. And like I said, I give you a brief preview of this article in my last video where I showed you the 2022 Crash Live magazine. This one is an article by Simon Butler, and it's called What's Next? There and Back Again with Simon Butler. I guess that's from is it The Hobbit, or the sequel to the Hobbit movie that's called There and Back Again. So this is really interesting. I think it's really awesome to have interviews with people in the retro computing community in these types of books, so you're not just constantly reviewing games and reading about more games and more games, but you're actually reading about people in the community, which is what makes this community great. And so this article is really interesting. And again, I'm not going to read it to you because you need to order the book yourself and read it for yourself. But I am going to read you the last sentence here, which says, I am thrilled to be a part of the scene to this day, and I am now going to wind this article up and go and push some pixels for the ZX Spectrum Next. Happy days. And it even shows you screenshots of a few games here. And it says, coming soon, Monkey McGee, Quake Star, and an exciting Head Over Heels remake. And if you get this magazine, you can check out these screenshots right here. So it's pretty amazing that people, even 40 years later, are doing development for these systems and developing new systems for these systems. My Specky Next is right here. You can see this is a 1 megabyte version Speccy Next, and I've got my external SD card reader hooked up to it. I don't know if you can actually hook up an external SD card reader to the Kickstarter 2 version of the Next or not. And for a dust cover, I just use this is just a piece of plastic shelf liner that seems to work really well as a dust cover. I cut it into shape to fit over my Next, and it seems to work really well. So that is my Next that I use. It's just a 1 megabyte version, but I doubt I'll be programming a game that uses 2 megabytes anyway. So anyway, this is a very interesting book. I haven't read it all yet, but what I have read, including that article about Simon Butler, is very interesting. So now let's go ahead and unbox this mystery surprise package, and we'll see what we have here. It's always so satisfying to rip that first tab off to open these packages. Oh, so I'll just show you the spine so you can see what we have here. Crash the Legacy. Lloyd Mangram and Roger McKean. Crash the Legacy. What's this all about? And every once in a while the Fusion Retro books go on sale, so when they do go on sale I like to pick something up. And it looks like this time I picked up Crash the Legacy, which I wasn't actually 100% sure what this is all about, but you can see it comes in a nice sleeve here. It's a hardcover sleeve it comes in right here, which is cool. And there it is, Crash the Legacy. And I think this is the cover of the first Crash kind of mini magazine that was offered. Yeah, so right here, the little mini magazine, the first one had this kind of alien looking mask face thing on it. And this Crash the Legacy does as well. So what is Crash the Legacy? It says, a retrospective on the first 4 years of the world's most iconic Spectrum gaming magazine. And on the back we have a whole bunch of pictures of different Crash magazines. And a couple people dancing on a keyboard of a Speccy 128. So let's see what this is all about. And I'm not going to read it to you, obviously, because you should go buy it for yourself. And let me just read the foreword, which is right here. By Chris Wilkins. It says, I have been an avid reader of Crash since I was aged 13 or so. I did not purchase the initial issue of the magazine back in the day, but do have my original number 4 onwards to 20 or so. Studies took over towards the end of the 1980s, and the skills the ZX Spectrum taught me in coding, along with my degree in computer studies, therefore helped me carve out a career for myself in programming and management in the IT industry. Becoming close to Roger Keane and Oliver Frey over the last 18 years or so only increased my love of Crash and all things newsfield. Within each 45 to 48 of Crash, within issues 45 to 48 of Crash, Roger, as Lloyd Mangram, looked back on the first 4 years of the magazine, displaying the covers on alternative pages with accompanying text on the reverse that discussed the issue's production and gave an insight into what was happening at Newsfield at the time. We have extracted the text using OCR software, and with the restorative wizardry of Gary Arnott, have recreated and digitally cleaned up the covers without the strap lines, i.e. Crash logos, text, etc. For this brand new publication, we are replacing the magazine covers as published originally with the pure artwork, so we can all marvel at Ollie's talent. I hope you enjoy this journey down Crash memory lane as much as we did producing it. Chris Wilkins. So, this, I guess, contains reproductions of the Crash magazine covers without the advertisements or whatever on the front, the banners on the front. So you get full page, unadulterated shots of the covers of these Crash magazines. And then it on the left side, it has a blurb about, I guess, the contents of the magazine. So this one says February 1984, issue number 1, released on January 13th. And there's a screenshot here for Zack San 3D Death Chase, which I remember playing that game back in the 80s. That's a very fun game. I played that on my Timex Sinclair 2068 with a ROM adapter for playing Specky games. Bugaboo the Flea is right here. And then there's a Crash cover there. So I'm just going to flip through this quickly, and I'm guessing this is all going to be full of different covers. Yeah, so this is all the Crash cover artwork, it looks like, but without anything blocking the images. They're full page images of these Crash covers, which is a great kind of memento to have, and you get to read all about that particular issue of the magazine. And it has screenshots on the left side here of the different games that were featured in that particular issue. And it looks like it goes from issue number 1 in February 1984. February 1984, issue number 1, up to where? Oh, and there's some extra articles at the back here. And we'll take a look at those quickly in a second. And it goes up to issue number 48, Christmas 1987. Oh, that was a while ago. Okay, so here we have, at the end, it has an addendum, and it says Part 1, How Crash Did It Monthly, the short guide to producing Crash each month, by Roger M. Keane. And then Part 2, Early Crash Catalog Artwork, the evolution into the magazine we know and love. So it has articles about those two topics at the back here. And some cool pictures as well. And then finally at the end here, it says Crash Microgames Action Spectrum Software Review, details about the exciting new month. Over here. Over there. It says, prior to becoming a trend-setting games magazine, Crash began life as 3 mail-order catalogs. The first inset and third covers of the Crash mail-order catalogs show the short evolution to the quality and look of the first issue of the new magazine. So I guess this was the cover of the first catalog that eventually turned into what then became and what is now Crash magazine. And then at the end we just have a picture at the back. It says Crash the Legacy, the end of the beginning. Cool. Alright, so there we go. There's my surprise unboxing, which turned out to be Crash the Legacy booklet. And I believe this is still available from FusionRetroBooks.com. If you'd like to pick up a copy for yourself, head on over to the website and check it out. So I put this in upside down. And once again, thanks very much, Chris Wilkins, for producing all these fantastic books and magazines, etc., for us retro computing hobbyists to enjoy. And there we go. Crash the Legacy. Go check it out for yourself, and if you like, order one, pick one up, and you can read all these articles. Thanks again for watching, as always, and we'll see you next time.